I have a message that has been waiting a very long time to reach you, and it carries real weight. Before you continue, take one slow breath and steady yourself, because what you are about to hear is honest and emotional. This message did not arrive from a single moment. It grew through quiet nights, unanswered thoughts, and conversations that never happened. It comes from words left unsaid and feelings held back for far too long. It has reached you now because something inside has shifted, and the time to keep ignoring it is almost gone. If you are new here, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so the messages meant for you never pass you by. There is a reason you landed on this video at this exact moment. Trust that your presence here is not random. Before we talk about what your person is feeling, there is something you need to hear first. You were never imagining what existed between you. The connection you felt was real. The feelings were real. You were not fooling yourself, and you were not building a fantasy in your mind. What happened between the two of you mattered, and none of it was only your fault. Hold that truth close as you keep listening. Your person has been carrying something heavy inside for longer than they have ever admitted, longer than you probably realize. They did not just stop caring one day. They did not wake up one morning and erase you from their heart. And even when they looked calm on the outside, they never truly let those feelings go. Instead, they pushed everything down. They buried emotions they did not know how to handle. They avoided feelings they were not ready to face. Silence became their safest choice because honest words felt too risky. But feelings do not vanish simply because they are hidden. They sit under the surface, growing heavier with each passing day, until carrying them alone feels impossible. That is exactly where they are right now. Even though they may look composed, there is no real peace inside them. Recently, something stirred everything they had tried to bury. Maybe they saw something that reminded them of you. Maybe someone said your name in passing. Maybe they dreamed about you so clearly that waking up felt like losing you all over again. Or maybe life finally became quiet enough for the truth to break through. Whatever it was, it forced them to face a reality they had been avoiding. They are scared that they may have already lost you. That realization did not arrive slowly. It hit them during lonely nights when distractions stopped working. It showed up while staring at an empty phone. It appeared during conversations that felt empty and in moments when being surrounded by people still left them alone. They have started noticing something painful. No one else understands them the way you did. No one else listened with the same patience. No one else offered comfort without making them feel boxed in or pressured. What you shared was not ordinary. You always brought something into their life that no one else could replace. And you feel that because it was true. If these words touch your heart, write "I feel this" in the comments. Sometimes naming what you feel is the first step toward accepting it. There is so much your person wishes they could finally tell you, but the words still do not come easily. They wish they had spoken sooner. They wish they had not assumed there would always be more time. They never believed you would really start moving forward without them. Only now are they seeing that staying silent was also a choice, and every choice has consequences. They carry regret for not showing up when you needed reassurance. They regret holding back honesty when you were looking for clarity. They regret letting fear keep them quiet when openness could have changed everything. Back then, distance felt safe. Silence felt like power. But avoiding hard feelings never makes them disappear. It only gives them room to grow. It has been said that until we face what we hide inside, those hidden feelings quietly shape our lives while we blame the result on fate. Without realizing it, your person has been living exactly that way. Fear made their choices. Pride spoke louder than vulnerability. Silence became their voice. Now those same choices have brought them face to face with consequences they cannot escape anymore. At the same time, something powerful has been happening inside you. You have changed. Whether they say it or not, they can feel the difference. Your energy has shifted. Your patience carries a new weight. Even your silence feels completely different now. Before, your quiet came from hope and waiting. Now, it comes from acceptance and inner peace. That change unsettles them more than any argument ever could. They got used to believing your kindness would always stay. They assumed your understanding had no limits. They expected endless chances because you had always been willing to keep believing in the connection. What they never imagined was for you to quietly choose yourself. But that is exactly what you have done. Choosing yourself was never the wrong call. It was not selfish. It was needed. You reached a point where protecting your own heart was the only way to survive. What they truly fear losing is not just your presence. They fear losing the person who understood them without demanding an explanation. They miss the feeling of safety they had with you, but never had the courage to name. They grieve the feeling of home they found in your heart, a home they did not know how to protect. One question keeps echoing in their mind, growing louder each day. Did I lose the one person who truly mattered? That thought follows them everywhere. It sits beside them at night when sleep will not come. It appears when they try to convince themselves they are ready to let go. It sits quietly across the table whenever they meet someone new, reminding them that something is missing. No one brings the same energy you did. No one makes them feel the way you did. Deep down, they already know that. If these words speak to your heart, write soul connection in the comments and let that intention move forward with you. The truth is, your person is not doing as well as they pretend. Many nights they wake suddenly, and before any thought enters their mind, they feel the emptiness your absence has left behind. It is not just that they miss you. It is the painful awareness that their own choices created the distance between you. As they move through daily life, memories show up without warning. A familiar place, a phrase you used to say, a scent that pulls them right back into moments they thought they had forgotten. They keep trying to push those memories away, telling themselves to move forward. But the mind can deny, while the heart and body rarely do. They remember what mattered. Even surrounded by people, loneliness follows them, because no one understands them the way you once did. No one reads between their words the way you did. No one quiets the noise inside their mind just by being there. Only now are they fully realizing that. At the same time, they are starting to appreciate things they overlooked when you were beside them. Your quiet strength, your endless patience, your willingness to love without needing constant reassurance, your ability to stay kind in a world that rewarded emotional distance. They see those things now, and the truth arrives in waves. Some days it is regret, some days it is grief, other days it is a feeling so heavy they cannot even name it. But there is something just as important for you to remember. Their regret does not erase the pain you carried. Their heartbreak does not mean your choice to step away was wrong. You did what you had to do to protect yourself, and you never have to apologize for that. Take a slow breath and let those words settle inside you. You were not wrong. Without meaning to, they compare everyone they meet to you. Every conversation feels incomplete. Every smile feels forced. Every new connection reminds them of something that once felt real. And that real connection was with you. They may never say your name out loud, but it lives quietly inside their thoughts every single day. Sometimes it is a gentle memory. Sometimes it is so heavy that nothing else can hold their attention. There is one memory they keep returning to again and again. It is not a big event or some unforgettable milestone. It is something small, something beautifully ordinary. Maybe it was the way you looked at them when nobody else was watching. Maybe it was a simple sentence that made them feel understood after years of feeling invisible. Maybe it was your laugh, the way you said their name, or just how your presence made hard days feel lighter. Whatever that moment was, it never left them. It travels with them everywhere. Late at night, in the middle of an ordinary afternoon, whenever something reminds them of you, they know exactly what they lost. They remember what it felt like to stand beside someone who truly accepted them. Since then, nothing has measured up. Nothing has come close. Yet while they sit with those realizations, I want you to remember something just as important. You are not responsible for waiting. You do not owe anyone your time, your healing, or the peace you fought so hard to rebuild. Just because they finally see your worth does not mean your life has to stop. Their pain is real, but yours is just as real. And your healing deserves the same respect. You already gave everything you knew how to give. You stayed longer than many people would have. You loved more deeply than they were prepared to receive. There was nothing wrong with that. And there is nothing wrong with choosing rest now. Your healing does not pause until someone else catches up. Your life keeps moving forward. Hold tightly to that truth. They have tried every distraction they could think of. They have buried themselves in work, routines, and constant activity. They have told themselves that everything is fine. They have tried to believe they made the right call. But every distraction fades, and every road leads them back to the same place, back to you, because you were the person who made them feel something undeniably real. They walked away from it not because they stopped caring, but because they were scared of how deeply they cared. They feared letting someone truly see them. They worried you would discover the parts of themselves they could not accept. So they chose distance, they chose silence. They chose what felt emotionally safe. Only now are they learning that safety and happiness are not the same thing. While they stay caught in memories of the past, you have kept building a future. You have created a life that belongs only to you, a peace that was not handed to you by anyone else. You built it through every hard day, every tear, every lesson, and every step you took forward. That strength is yours now, and whether they say it aloud or not, they can feel the difference. They notice it in your words. They notice it just as much in your silence. They notice it in the way you no longer feel the need to convince anyone of your value. They could have handled your frustration. They could have responded to conflict or emotional reactions. But your calmness is different. Your peace tells them you have accepted what happened. Your peace tells them you found a way to move forward, and that quiet acceptance speaks louder than anything you could have said. Little by little you stopped chasing after answers. You stopped defending your worth. You stopped shrinking yourself to make someone else feel comfortable. You stopped pouring endless love into someone who was not meeting you with the same effort. That change did not happen overnight. It unfolded slowly, almost invisibly, the way real healing always does. Then, one day, you realized something had shifted. You had shifted. You no longer waited for another person to give you the love, respect, and security you had finally learned to give yourself. If you have reached that place in your own journey, write "I chose myself" in the comments. Those words are not just a reply, they are a reminder of how far you have come. Let me say something your heart deserves to hear again. You were not wrong for loving them. You were not naive for believing in what the two of you shared. You were not weak because you stayed and hoped for as long as you did. You loved sincerely, completely, and without holding anything back. There is no shame in loving with an open heart, but real love should never ask you to disappear inside someone else's story. That is what was starting to happen. You were carrying the emotional weight of two people while they struggled to carry even their own. You did not walk away because your heart became cold. You walked away because you finally understood that love is not supposed to feel like begging for attention. Love is not meant to be a constant effort to prove your worth. It should not feel like sitting alone, waiting for someone who never truly arrives. You deserved honest communication. You deserved certainty instead of mixed signals. You deserve to be someone's first choice instead of an option they remember only when it is convenient. And eventually you believed that truth. That was not giving up. That was waking up. Sometimes the deepest act of love is choosing to stop accepting less than what you deserve. Right now, your person senses something slipping away, not through a dramatic ending, not through anger, but through a quiet closing of a door. And those silent endings are often the hardest to accept because once that door finally closes, reopening it becomes far more difficult. Part of them wants to reach out. They want to explain everything they never said. They want to apologize, not with empty promises or familiar excuses, but with honesty they have never shown before. Yet fear still stands between them and that conversation. Fear whispers that they have waited too long. Fear tells them you may no longer care. Fear convinces them that if they finally become vulnerable, you will reject them. So they hesitate. They write messages, then erase every word. They unlock their phone in the middle of the night only to set it back down again. They search for your name, stare at the screen, and close it before pressing send. Entire conversations happen inside their imagination that never become real. And every day they stay silent. Their anxiety grows a little stronger. Meanwhile, your peace keeps growing. That is no small thing. It is one of the greatest victories of your journey. You have created a life that no longer depends on whether someone chooses you. You keep moving forward. You carry yourself with a quiet confidence built through hardship. No one rescued you. No one carried you through your darkest moments. You found your own strength. You became someone who understands that being whole does not require another person's approval. The truth is, you were always enough. You just forgot for a little while. Now you have remembered. As for your person, they are feeling things they do not fully understand. They feel unsettled without knowing why. They feel an emptiness they cannot explain. Many nights they lie awake wondering where life has taken you. They wonder whether they still cross your mind. They wonder whether you have already found happiness without them. Sometimes they imagine someone else making you smile, and that thought sits heavy on their chest. They wonder whether you still remember the moments they are trying not to lose. That uncertainty tightens something inside them. Not because they believe they deserve another chance. They know life does not work that way. But hearts do not always follow logic. And despite everything, theirs still carries your memory. Sometimes they revisit old conversations between the two of you. They reread messages they left unanswered. They notice every question they ignored. Now each unanswered message feels like a reminder of a chance they let slip away. Each one marks a moment when you reached toward them and they chose silence instead. Lately, it feels like life keeps placing reminders of you in their path. Your name shows up unexpectedly. Songs pull back memories they thought had faded. Dreams leave them waking with feelings they cannot explain. Whether you see these moments as coincidence or something more, they keep arriving, pushing them to face what they have avoided. Each reminder feels like another chance to choose differently, but chances do not stay forever. Sooner or later, every person reaches a moment when the signs stop pointing the way, and the next decision becomes theirs alone. It has been said that lasting peace does not come from pretending the darkness is not there. It comes from having the courage to face it. That is exactly where your person finds themselves now. Inside them, a quiet battle is unfolding. Their heart is pulling them toward you. Their fear keeps warning them not to risk being hurt. Their pride tells them to stay silent. But somewhere beneath all of that, their soul keeps whispering the same message: go to them. And with each passing day, that quiet voice grows stronger. They are starting to understand something they could not see before. You did not walk away because your love disappeared. You walked away because love alone was not enough. You needed honesty instead of uncertainty. You needed emotional safety instead of confusion. You needed someone whose actions matched their words, not someone who loved you only in silence. That was not what you were receiving. So you made the hardest choice of all. You stopped waiting to be chosen. You chose yourself instead. That was not selfish. It was not cruel. It was an act of courage. You never expected perfection. You never asked them to have every answer. All you wanted was honest effort, someone willing to stay present even when things felt uncomfortable. You did not need grand speeches. You needed truthful ones. You were not asking for impossible promises. You only wanted to know you were not carrying the relationship by yourself. The day you realized you were the only one fighting to keep it alive, something quietly shifted inside you. Not because resentment took over, not because bitterness won, but because your heart finally accepted a painful truth. You cannot build a relationship alone. They understand that now. They feel it every time your phone stays silent. They notice it every time you do not reach out. They have started realizing something important. You no longer need their explanation to validate your experience. You no longer need an apology to remember your value. You already know who you are. And that quiet confidence is what lingers in their thoughts long after the world goes quiet. If these words speak to your heart, write divine timing in the comments as a reminder that what truly belongs in your life will arrive when it is meant to. Here is what you need to remember above everything else. You never asked for too much. Wanting honesty is not asking too much. Wanting consistency is not asking too much. Wanting someone who chooses you during hard moments is not asking too much. Those are not rare expectations. They are the foundation of any healthy relationship. Someone realizing your worth too late does not automatically earn them another chance. You have already done the difficult work. You have rebuilt yourself. You have found peace that nobody else can give or take away. Your worth did not suddenly appear because they finally noticed it. It was there every day they stayed silent. It was there every day you questioned yourself. It was there every moment you chose to keep moving through the pain. Their regret does not decide your future. Their fear does not control your timing. Their awakening is not your responsibility to fix. Your responsibility is to keep honoring the life you fought so hard to create. If they ever reach out, trust yourself. You will not need anyone else to tell you what feels right. Your heart will recognize sincerity. You will know the difference between someone afraid of losing you and someone genuinely ready to love you differently. Those are not the same. You understand that now. You can still love someone and protect your own peace. You can wish someone healing while choosing not to reopen the door. That is not unkind. That is emotional maturity. Something about this connection is shifting. In the coming days, you may notice small reminders that catch your attention. An unexpected feeling of warmth. A dream that stays vivid after waking. A familiar song arriving at the perfect moment. Numbers that seem to repeat wherever you go. Whether you see these as coincidence or something more, let them remind you that meaningful connections leave lasting impressions. But remembering someone does not mean you have to return to where you once were. Sometimes the strongest choice is simply naming what you feel and moving forward anyway. Meanwhile, your person is still wrestling with themselves. Part of them longs to come towards you. Another part wants to disappear. One side wants to finally speak the truth. The other is terrified of what honesty might cost. They are caught between who they have always been and who they are trying to become. The old version hides behind silence. It chooses comfort over vulnerability. It protects itself instead of risking connection. But another version is starting to rise, a version exhausted from pretending, a version that no longer wants to deny what your absence has taught them. That version grows stronger every day. Eventually, it may become the one that finally speaks. Something inside them is breaking open. Not because someone forced it, but because keeping everything locked away has become impossible. Real love has a way of finding every crack in the walls we build around ourselves. People can ignore it, they can bury it, they can convince themselves it is not there. But truth has a way of resurfacing. Your person is getting close to that moment, and when it arrives, it may not look the way either of you imagined. Maybe it will be a late-night message. Maybe it will be a phone call full of pauses instead of perfect words. Maybe your eyes will meet in a quiet room saying everything neither of you could speak. Or maybe it will be a small moment only the two of you could ever understand. Whatever happens, remember this. You are never obligated to respond before you are ready. A knock on the door does not require you to open it. The decision belongs to you. Your peace belongs to you. No one else's awakening should cost you the healing you have worked so hard to build. If you trust that life unfolds in its own perfect time, write signal received in the comments, not for anyone else, for yourself, as a reminder that you trust your own path. You are no longer waiting for someone else to complete you. You already are complete. You are no longer searching for someone else's approval to know your worth. Stay with this feeling, carry it forward, and let every next step be one you choose for yourself.